The story kicks off in Iraq, where we meet Ryan Logan, a sniper in the SAS. He's got a sharp aim, taking out 2 terrorists with precision. Meanwhile, a group of soldiers storms into an enemy bunker, taking down several adversaries and capturing an Iranian man. They're pressing him for intel on their target, the leader of a terrorist organization. Suddenly, an enemy ambushes them, and Ryan takes a hit while protecting the team. As he lies wounded, his commanding officer Johnny reassures him that he'll pull through. Fast forward, and we see Ryan back home, bonding with his son Billy during a hunting trip. They head into the woods, and Ryan encourages Billy to shoot a deer as part of their training. But Billy freezes up, unable to do it. Ryan steps in and takes the shot himself, leaving a lasting impression on his son. Later, Ryan teaches Billy how to sharpen a knife, but the boy accidentally cuts his finger in the process. Trying to prove himself, Billy ventures into the woods alone and finds a stray puppy. As he's petting it, an adult dog shows up and attacks him. Panicked, he calls his dad, who rushes in and takes down the dog to protect Billy. At home, Ryan's life seems picture perfect. He's happily married to Justine, and the couple is expecting another child. Billy is still shaken from his knife incident, and during bath time, his mom notices the cut on his finger. When he tells her what happened, she handles it calmly. Later, Billy asks Ryan if he'll ever be as brave as his dad. Ryan gives him an unexpected answer, saying that refusing to shoot the deer despite the pressure showed courage in its own way. This moment sticks with Billy, but he's more drawn to the idea of bravery his dad demonstrated during the hunt. One morning, Billy wakes up early to help Ryan make sandwiches. Meanwhile, Ryan and Justine are brainstorming names for their unborn daughter. Life seems peaceful until tragedy strikes. While driving Billy to school, Justine gets into a horrific car accident. She and the baby don't survive, leaving Billy as the sole survivor. The boy is left traumatized, staring at the lifeless body of his mother. The story jumps 6 years ahead. Ryan has left the military to care for Billy, but life hasn't been easy. Ryan struggles with severe PTSD, often hallucinating visions of Justine. The two have relocated to Australia, but their lives are far from stable. Billy's been getting into trouble, landing them in court multiple times. During one hearing, a judge warns Ryan that he'll lose custody if Billy doesn't straighten out. On the drive home, father and son sit in silence, the tension between them palpable. One day, Ryan gets a message from his old buddy Johnny, asking to meet up. Meanwhile, Billy is dealing with his own issues, still haunted by the knife incident from years ago. He's seen pricking his finger with a needle in the bathroom. At school, things aren't much better. Ryan gets called to the principal's office, where he's informed that Billy has been skipping classes. On top of that, Ryan is behind on tuition payments. The principal suggests transferring Billy to a public school, but Ryan insists he'll sort out the fees and that Billy will improve. Amid all this chaos, Ryan runs into Johnny, who shares his own family troubles. Johnny's wife is cheating on him, and his kids won't talk to him. Ryan doesn't have much to brag about either, considering Billy's behavior. Johnny proposes a quick job, hinting that it's probably not legal. At first, Ryan is hesitant but feels backed into a corner due to his financial struggles. Back at home, Ryan and Billy share a meal in silence, highlighting the strained relationship between them. Later, Ryan tries to make a sales pitch at work, but it's a bust. Meanwhile, Johnny talks to Billy, reminiscing about his time in Iraq with Ryan. Billy is curious and asks if his dad ever killed anyone. Johnny doesn't sugarcoat it, telling Billy that Ryan was a sniper and a hero. That evening, Johnny presses Ryan about the job, but Ryan puts him off, saying he needs to feed Billy first. They eventually meet at a bar, and Ryan, despite his initial reluctance, agrees to the plan. That night, Ryan retrieves a gun from his bedside table and has another hallucination of Justine comforting him. The next day, Billy seems to be making new friends, sharing stories about his dad's wartime heroics, which he learned from Johnny. Meanwhile, Ryan and Johnny gear up for the job. They break into an apartment, shooting one man and threatening another. The place belongs to a drug dealer, who also happens to be Johnny's boss. During the robbery, they find a young man who manages to call for help. As someone knocks on the door, Ryan peeks through the peephole. Johnny urges him to open it, but by the time Ryan does, the person is gone. Ryan is furious, pointing out that Johnny promised there wouldn't be any shooting. He also suspects Johnny killed the young man who called for help, judging by the 2 gunshots he heard earlier. That night, Ryan's sleep is disturbed by a haunting nightmare, and Billy ends up overhearing him talking to his late wife in his sleep. The next morning, things go from bad to worse when Ryan is fired from his sales job due to a misconduct incident. Meanwhile, Billy's new friends tempt him to try pot, but he turns them down. They tease him for being uptight, but one of the boys surprisingly defends him. Grateful, Billy confides that he's tried pot before but can't risk it again because of his past run-ins with the law. The two hit it off, and Billy's new friend invites him to a party. Desperate for income, Ryan reconnects with Johnny and asks for another job since he's now unemployed. Johnny ropes him into more shady activities, and one evening, Ryan grabs his gun. Billy catches him and innocently asks if he's going hunting. Ryan plays along and asks Billy if he'd like to go hunting again like they used to. Changing the subject, Billy asks if he can attend his new friend's party, and Ryan reluctantly agrees. At the party, Billy dives head first into the chaos, drinking like there's no tomorrow. Meanwhile, Ryan is positioned with his sniper rifle as Johnny confronts 2 men. One of the men accuses Johnny of killing a young man who had called for help. Johnny denies it, but it's clear he's working with these criminals and has betrayed them. Back at the party, Billy's friends find a car belonging to one of their dads and egg Billy on to take it for a spin. Around the same time, Ryan returns home and gets a worrying phone call. He tracks down Billy, his friends, and the overturned car. Furious and disappointed, Ryan orders Billy to get in his car. When they get home, Billy locks himself in the bathroom, clearly overwhelmed. He pulls out a razor blade and attempts to harm himself, but Ryan manages to break in and calm him down. To protect Billy from potential legal trouble, Ryan burns the wrecked car to destroy any evidence. The next morning, he watches firefighters extinguish the blaze. Later, Ryan approaches the car's owner, Billy's friend's father, and confesses to burning it. He suggests the man report it as a fire and claim insurance money, but the man is enraged. He threatens to report Billy to the police, but Ryan promises to compensate him and keeps the situation under control. Billy ends up in the hospital, receiving treatment for his injuries. While waiting in the hallway, Ryan has a flashback of the devastating moment a doctor informed him of his wife and unborn child's deaths. The weight of the memory is palpable. When Billy is discharged, he tells Ryan he overheard him talking to his mom, but Ryan avoids the topic. Later, Ryan, desperate for money, asks Johnny for help. Johnny offers him a high-stakes job that involves killing someone. Pressed by financial struggles, Ryan reluctantly agrees. Johnny meets with 2 furious criminals he's been working with. They demand to know where the money he stole is. Johnny directs them to the trunk of his car, but as one of them checks, Ryan takes him out. A firefight ensues, with Ryan taking down all the mercenaries sent as backup. After dealing with the chaos, Johnny buries the bodies and tells Ryan to go home. Shaken, Ryan returns to his house, fear creeping in as he realizes the danger they're both in. The next day, Ryan tells Billy they need to move again, worried about potential threats. Billy, feeling insecure and angry, lashes out, claiming his mom should have survived instead of him. Ryan, caught between anger and heartbreak, nearly loses his temper but manages to hold back. He reveals the heartbreaking choice he faced after the accident, having to save either his wife or Billy due to their rare blood type. Ryan later confronts the owner of the burned car, compensates him, and warns him to stop the blackmail attempts. A flashback reveals the cause of his wife's fatal accident, a drunk driver's recklessness. After the tragedy, Johnny had found the injured driver and, in a fit of rage, killed him as an act of revenge. In the present, Johnny, high and paranoid, dances in his house when a mercenary ambushes him. Though stabbed, Johnny manages to kill his attacker. Terrified, he flees to Ryan's house, begging for help against the mercenaries hunting him. After a tense argument, Ryan refuses and forces him to leave. Johnny, desperate and unhinged, pretends to make peace but catches Ryan off guard. During a fight, Johnny holds Ryan at gunpoint, ready to pull the trigger, but Billy steps in and shoots Johnny with the very gun he was too scared to use as a child. In the final moments, Ryan and Billy share a quiet, heartfelt bonding session during a driving lesson. For the first time in what feels like forever, they're able to open up to each other. Their fractured relationship begins to heal as they navigate their new normal together. Thanks for sticking around. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more recaps. Until next time, take care